Ready Check Radio. Hola, Internet! Welcome to the Relic Grind. It's Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That means here on twitch.tv/ReadyCheckRadio, it's time for our Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix podcast. We got a lot to talk about today. Some Final Fantasy XIV, some Final Fantasy XVI, and then I'll be going straight from here over to Dylan Camacho's stream on YouTube to talk about Final Fantasy, the trading card game. So if you follow us on Twitter, you already know. Come and hang out, say hi to Dylan and I as we're talking about the current meta in the current season. It's been a lot of fun, more events coming up. But I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magic Man, here to talk about Final Fantasy XIV. If you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, iTunes, wherever, head on over to ReadyCheckRadio.com. All the socials and the backlog of all episodes are on the site there. And you can follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Give it a like, a follow, a subscribe. Turn on notifications. You know, feed that algorithm. We got a lot to cover. Joining me to do it, Mr. Chris Montoya, a.k.a. Tarkoth. What's up, sir?
Greetings, programs. I got Clive on my head. I got my Loperet on my ear. I'm jamming and ready. 3 weeks until 16, and I can't wait for my $6,000 collector's edition box. It's going to be sweet. Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, you just got a map, too, didn't you?
That was my cloth collector's edition of 14
you got it
that
framed.
I finally framed. I framed it.
Yeah, mine's still folded and sealed. All of that still folded and sealed in boxes. Also on the line, Mr. Paul Berlin, a.k.a. Flynn. What's up, sir?
Hey, 3 weeks, yes, hype.
Yeah,
hype. That's all I can say is hype.
Yeah, 21 days. 21 days. And I know we're all looking forward to it, even though it's kind of weird, right? Like, it's right around the corner, and we're all kind of like bummed that it's not one thing, but still hyped for it. Like, that's weird. Like, that's very weird to me. It's like, oh, I'm really disappointed that it's not this, but I am still excited about it. I'm still excited about it.
What was I don't know where your hype level is. Like, what was the last Final Fantasy release that you were kind of this hyped for?
Well, I mean, 14 doesn't count because it's kind of like a different beast, right?
Yeah,
you know, with version 2 and Realm Reborn and all that.
Yeah, Heaven's Sword kicked off my 14.
12 I was pretty hyped for. Hype enough to be at a GameStop midnight release for. And get my Steelbook edition.
Yeah, buddy.
13, I don't think I was really hyped for 13 at all. And then that just got worse, like with the sequels, right? In fact, I didn't pick up the sequels until they were like just discounted in a bin somewhere. Like, I just had no interest in it.
Oh my god, that's funny. I got the discounted collector's edition. Like, it was half off, and it was the collector's edition. I'm like, what is this? Okay, yeah, I'll buy that up.
15, I was pretty hyped for, actually, because one, you know, it had been so long, right? And when 15 came out, remember Kingsglaive, the movie thing had come out a bit ahead of it, and my city was one of those like few cities that actually had like a 2 or 3 day theater showing.
Nice.
So we went and we saw Kingsglaive in the movie theater, and I really enjoyed the movie, and I was just kind of lukewarm on the game, and I was like, oh, okay. We did a bunch of ladies in 10-2. We did a mostly female starring cast in 13. This is kind of them swinging the pendulum the other way, and it's going to be a bro fest. Okay, you know, whatever. Let's see. And I was like a lukewarm 7 out of 10. Then seeing Kingsglaive, I was like a 9 out of 10 because I'm one of the few that enjoyed the movie, I think.
Oh yeah, same here.
And then the game came out. I played it, and my hype like fell to about to about a 7.5 to an 8. Not that I didn't enjoy 15; it's just not one of my favorites. So yeah, it was really weird starting and having to like insert the movie after the first chapter, like not the prequel. But anyway, so like the most hyped recent one is probably 12. Hype enough to be at a midnight release and buy the strategy guide that day. What about you, Flynn?
Like I said, it's Final Fantasy. I'm always hyper before, outside the 16, 15 was probably it because of everything they did. The big event showing off the car. There's a film, there's an anime, there's other stuff. It was just such a spectacle. It made me really silly.
It's Cal saying, honestly, not a lot of hype since around the Final Fantasy IX, 10 era. Doc Holliday, kind of along the same lines I am in chat, was hyped for 15, got the collector's edition, watched the movie right before playing the game, then fell off of it a little bit after you actually got to play the game. So, yeah. I remember I was working at a video game store when 9 came out. I was working at a Best Buy when 10 came out. And so there really wasn't like a hype for me because it was like I took them home a day or two early anyway.
I was still in high school for 10, I believe. So I was still young enough, so I just had that kid hype back then.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't much older than you. When 10 came out, I was at Best Buy, so I would have been like 22-ish, 23-ish, somewhere around there. So stocking them on the shelves. Kingdom Hearts, I didn't know dick about Kingdom Hearts when it came out. Like, I wasn't into like the magazines and stuff anymore. I just didn't have time. And so I wasn't like, I didn't know what was coming out besides looking at the release thing, prepping shelves and stuff ahead of time for Best Buy, right? Yeah. And so Kingdom Hearts came out, and I'm like taking a bunch of them to the floor to put them out. I'm like, what the hell is this? Disney and Final Fantasy, oh God, what the hell are they doing now? What are they doing to my Final Fantasy? Took it home and was like, I love this. This is so good. I love this so much.
I had a sort of weird experience with Kingdom Hearts. Because my parents knew I loved Square Enix stuff. It was randomly bought for me. Played this. What the hell?
The original Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah. I was like, what the hell is this? Then I got to the first Darkside battle. I said, I'm in. I don't care what this game's about anymore. I'm so in.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It had a certain charm to it that they went ahead and just slaughtered with retcons and nonsensical stories after a while. Anyway, we'll get to 16 chat in a minute. Let's talk 14 first. So 6.4 last week we gave most of our review for the 6.4 content and some of the 6.4.5 stuff that we're awaiting. Obviously, Savage launched this week, but there were a few odds and ends that, like, Tark, you hadn't done Tataru stuff yet, and, like, bits and pieces like that. And I know you're not planning to do Tataru until it's all over. But now that you've had a week, you've finished everything you want to do, and we'll talk about Savage separately. What are your final thoughts on 6.4?
It's the best patch since the post-release of the... Yeah, it's great. I've been doing Golbez, like learning parties, clear parties, help people get their first clear, trying to get some totems and stuff. I don't really do that with Extreme, so the fact that I love the fight, I love the music, I love the background and aesthetic. Everything's just awesome with that fight. Savage has been okay. We only had 3 hours on Tuesday. We go back in tonight. Hopefully we get our first P9S kill, get some accessories. But yeah, it's been great. I love it.
So you've already started Savage then. That came out just a few days ago, a little, 48 hours-ish ago. How's it going? What are your thoughts initially?
So far so good. We're on the first major mechanic. I think it's called Levin Strike. What I like about it is that there seems to be a lot of different ways that you can actually go about solving it. It's not one hard and fixed. So I think there's like 3 different strats, and we're trying our hands at a bunch of different ones and see what fits our group.
Flynn, final thoughts on 6.4? Anything you hadn't finished up in time for the show last week? Or
still missing Tataru. I was gonna do it earlier today. Then life decided, right, I need to take my dog out. I need to cook food. And I just didn't get around to it. Like, I was meant to have
life was like, please eat.
Yeah, it's like that for my raid group as well. We was meant to have done some Golbez this week. Meant to have tried to go into Savage Day 1. Then it turned out to one of our healers. Their work got so busy that they ended up doing a 12-hour shift instead of an 8. Another boy was just time locked, and now after the raid group, I've disappeared to go see a concert for the weekend. So it's been a time this week. But
Well,
that's let me mellow and absorb the story more, and yeah. So
have
good.
you started poking around in Savage, or are you still helping the rest of the guild get their gear and stuff?
It's like I said, because our raid group's so weird. I mean, we're going in Sunday now, I think, for our first attempt.
Nice.
Because of us being together, we want to like not do party finder strats or guides. We just want to try and learn shit.
Yeah, go in cold.
So even if we know this mechanic exists, we still have to deal with it our way and learn our skills.
Yeah, so the world first race, by the way, kicked off 48 hours ago and ended already.
Yeah, it's done.
Last year.
It's done. Not only did Neverland finish in first, but we currently have 16 groups in the world's first race that are complete, that have completed. 16 groups in the Race to World First completed already within a little over, let's say, 48 hours, Tark. Disappointing on how fast? Impressive how fast? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, it's always impressive that, well, first, the amount of dedication and time that they devote to this. I think they raid for like 16 hours a day and enough just time to maybe take a break to eat and drink and go to the bathroom and then sleep. But then they're right back at it. So impressive that they can do this. They have skills and understanding of the ins and outs of the game that I only wish I could have. Disappointing. I mean, typically Savage raids are cleared in the first like 36 hours. So the fact that I got to 48 hours, hey, this is a good tier then, right? And we also don't have the drama of like gear lockout and people being upset that, you know, things are so undertuned with certain job classes. So, hey, tuning was done right. So all in all, seems to be in a good spot.
Yeah, ironically, if you look at Neverland's stats, by the way, it was not Palace Athena that presented the biggest challenge. It was actually Athena.
Yeah.
At 108 pools, and then Palace Athena taking just a paltry 82. Just a paltry 82. What I thought was interesting and a little disappointing, like, right, these groups are going to pummel it within 1 to 4 days, typically, when we're talking about Savage. And when we get to Ultimate, then we're looking at typically a week. Yeah. You know, we start the world first race on Tuesday, and usually we have the winners by the following Relic Grind episode, the next Thursday for the Ultimates. But I don't know. I looked at Athena and Palace Athena, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool. And then when you go back and look at first, second, and third turns there in the current series, 15 pools, 30 pools, 26 pools. Bang, bang, bang.
Wow. I didn't even look at that.
Bang,
That's crazy.
That is impressive. That is impressive. And to Cal's point, you know, last time we had quite a bit of controversy, right? Over the world first. It was the ultimate, right? But it was a world first race with camera mods and streaming versus not streaming teams. And
yeah. Okay.
We don't seem to have any of that right now. That does not mean that all teams streamed. All teams did not. Some weren't streaming at all. Some streamed sometimes, but then not at other times when they were, you know, doing something in Athena or Palace Athena. So it's a mixed bag as far as finding recordings for it right now. But we don't seem to, at least as of this moment, have any controversy yet, Flynn.
Yeah, for once.
Like the last time.
Yeah, no A130 Zoom hacks or anything like that.
Well, to say nobody beat it because they didn't stream it, I mean, there are 16 guilds that did it. One of them is the one that came in 4th is literally live right now, doing some stuff. The one that came in 15th is doing some stuff, and then there are a few guilds that are still progressing through Palace Athena, and they are. There's 2 of them. I'm sorry. There's 4 of them streaming right now that are still doing progression for there. They're 4 of 5.
The first team that streamed their kill was DN. Will 4th.
Yeah, they came in 4th. And they're the ones that are actually streaming right now, too. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not going to click this because I don't want to push their audio through the system, but they're literally streaming right now. Yeah, I mean, you say what you will. There's always going to be that question, right? If you didn't stream and people didn't see it, did you use mods? Nobody's going to know unless you piss somebody in the guild off, Tark, and they rat you out.
Self-report.
Yeah, or end up self-reporting. It sucks that has to be a like back of your head thing, but 16 in 2 days. 16 in 2 days. I always like watching the Race to World. I still watch the World of Warcraft Race to World first. And there's just something about like running high-end mythic dungeons or high-end mythic raids at that level that I just enjoy watching. And I know it's boring for some people, but I just really enjoy watching them sometimes.
This was my first year not actually watching the World Race.
You didn't watch it all?
I waited until they released Beyond 12 just to not have early fight spoilers sort of thing.
Oh,
because I know my recruit's going to take a while for that final transformation. It's like, I need to see what this is.
Hey, gang, just an FYI, housing demolition coming back to Chaos and Light data centers on June 21st. So remember the whole 45-day countdown thing. Make sure you've been in your houses. That's been turned off and turned on so many times now, it's hard to keep track. And they even put in here that, hey, we may delay this again if the need arises. But Chaos and Light data centers housing demolition resumes Wednesday, June 21st. So
this one was because of the
go visit your house on the 21st, because on the 22nd and forward you'll be playing Final Fantasy XIV.
Yes.
Very much.
Make sure you don't get your house freaking demolished while you're doing it. Before we leave Final Fantasy XIV, we are really closing in on Fan Fests. And Tark, you got to be excited, right?
Oh, I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. I've actually started planning what I need to pack, and I got to get my journal down for signatures. But yeah, I'm stoked.
As we head into it, obviously there's been some kind of like tips and maybe hints and nods. And we talked about last week the conversation in 6.4 between Thancred and Urianger, where they mentioned that somebody needs an Archon. We talked about Kryle's letter in there. But apparently, but wait, there's more.
But wait,
there's more. Coming from Reddit and credit where due, posted by Not Cold Reactive, we got this little picture. And this wasn't exactly front and center anywhere. In fact, you kind of have to get your camera in at a weird angle and cause a little graphics clip to be able to see this bad boy. But this is like actually the seal on Kryle's letter. And what am I looking at here, Flynn? Because I'm seeing a couple different theories about what this iconology might represent here.
It's very dragon-like, and we know Yoshi P's comments of, if we've mentioned location in game, we're probably going there. So I hope Meracydia. I hope this is our invitation to visit that continent now.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that, right? It kind of does look like a dragon. Some people on Reddit have said it looks like Merilith, the Fiend of Fire from the original game. Yeah, Merilith, maybe.
And we've also had little hints that Asura is going to be a fight that we can do at FanFest. So maybe that's...
Is there anywhere the expansion could go besides Meracydia? Like, that's been the number one belief for a while now, right?
Yeah, as far as landmasses, I think that's the most logical. The other one is the New World. But I think that we've talked about Meracydia for so long in this game, and it's just south of everything that we have going on now. Yes, it's a new continent, but it's just right across the sea. So I think that's the most logical place.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Meracydia. And maybe this seal has nothing to do with it, but it's just interesting that it kind of looks like a dragon.
And Tiamat went back home there, and I think Azdaja back there. So.
Yeah.
And there's also the chance that someone said that Arenville's comment about going home to do his business For all we know, we could be going to Valheim and Galmordan Jungles.
Yeah. It's got to be Meracydia. Like, it has to be.
But we have had a few expansions.
Would you kind of be disappointed in that, though? Like, if it, like, it feels like Heaven's Word was the dragon expansion, right? Because the dragons and the Dragoon storyline going on at the time. And now we're going to go to Meracydia and do the same thing. We're going to mess with dragons.
So
we're going to mess with some more dragons.
Give me dragons. I'm always down for more dragons. Hell yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they get right on the back of Dragonflight. It's all about the
story. As long as the story is great, you're going to be like, yeah, this was good.
Chat, what's old is new again. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, just 40 going. You think you can do a dragon expansion? Check this one out.
Right. They're like, oh, cool. World of Warcraft. Nice dragon expansion. That was really cool what you guys did there. Check out our dragon expansion.
Yeah.
Boom.
Endwalker had a dragon-led state, so yeah. I guess. I mean, yeah. Dragons, more dragons. More dragons. By the way, dragons aren't a bad thing, by the way. No. We do have, we got Tiamat to wrap up. Yeah, so that portion. Okay, you sold me. Let's do it.
And Nejdaya, we don't know.
The biggest selling point is we got Ishikawa.
Let's do it. Let's do a dragon, another dragon expansion. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Okay, now on to some Final Fantasy XVI stuff. Just 3 weeks away, and there's a couple of things that popped just today. One of which I did add to the show notes because I thought, hey, we got to talk about this a little bit because it's going to be a thing going on this whole month. But there are 2 items that literally just kind of broke hours before the show. Not really huge conversation pieces. I'm going to throw them out there since I didn't put them in the show notes, and you two can give me your gut reactions to them, right?
Oh, fun.
Tickets on sale, gone, for the live stream event that will happen on June 11th. For the game. So obviously, none of us were going to that. We're going to be watching the stream, reacting on this show and stuff. But they are planning a ton of announcements there. And those tickets went on sale today. And then the demo, while not available or searchable yet, some mobile people have said they could pull it up on their phone, is showing up on the PlayStation Store for people that pre-ordered digitally through the PlayStation Store. It's showing up as being in their library. They can't download it. They can't play it yet. We assume that this is probably going to come out on the 11th-ish around this stream that they're going to do as well, this launch stream. But showing up as in people's libraries on their PlayStation 5, Flynn.
He's in us. All the season.
Could you imagine, like, if you get a notification that says in library and you're like, oh, I can go home from work today and
sad.
Sad.
I would love if someone got that email and they accidentally ended up with the full game as a download early.
I mean, it's going to leak at some point, right? Like, Nintendo Switch games have notoriously been leaking like 6 to 11 days before they even hit store shelves. Somebody's got a full online copy of it. It's going to leak somewhere. It's too big not to.
Yeah.
Somebody's shanking a copy of this.
They've done pretty good so far with keeping things locked down, only releasing what they want, or, Yoshi P letting something slip. But
well, have they really? Well, you see, maybe too much though. Remember the Stranger of Paradise demo? That didn't work for the weekend that it was supposed to have come out, and they had to like extend it because it just did not work. Takao saying, he played Tears of the Kingdom, the new Zelda, like 8 days early. Yeah. I mean, it was all over the internet. But making the rounds, Yoshi P doing his interviewing thing with the rest of his team, Koji Fox and friends from the team. So over at Final Fantasy Union, I love their content, by the way.
Yeah.
If you don't watch Final Fantasy Union stuff, you really should. Final Fantasy Union is just tremendous. Like, they're just fanboys of my own ilk. I love them, and they do great content. They did an interview where they got to ask a couple of questions, but there was one in particular that I thought I wanted to bring to this show, and that was having to do with the UI in Final Fantasy XVI. Because they asked the question, after initial feedback, There was some buzz on the internet about the UI maybe not fitting with the style of the game for a lot of people, and floating numbers and the fonts and stuff making it look almost like a fighting game instead of a Final Fantasy game with this very medieval aesthetic. And so they asked the team, like, did you consider changing the UI based on initial feedback and some of the earlier footage? And Yoshi P actually said yes. Not only did we consider changing it, but we went back and we actually did change it. We overhauled the entire UI and scaled back the floating number combat text and the fonts and the bright lights of the UI. And then they reverted it back. So they took all this feedback, totally overhauled it, and then said, nah, we're going with what we originally had. And even Yoshi P acknowledged in this interview that, yeah, it may be a little bit of a pushback on immersion initially, because it does look very different from the rest of the setting of the game. But he believes it just is better this way. You need that feedback. You need to be able to see that for the style of combat that they've implemented. You need to be able to see it. This style makes it pop. It may be immersion breaking initially. You will get used to it, and it just works better. Not often you hear Tark feedback taken, feedback causes a change, and then they say, you know, no.
You were wrong.
No, you were wrong, and please get used to it.
You know, sometimes feedback can be really good, and the fact that they took it and they tried to work the feedback into what the fans were thinking of, but then realized, no, you guys don't know the whole experience. You don't have the greater breadth of what the game is and what it entails. This just works better. And they go back to what they did and like, no, this is our vision of the game. This is where it needs to be. And you guys will appreciate it as you play the game. It was spot on for Yoshi P and team for taking the steps to try it, but then realize for the best of the game, this is what needs to happen.
Magnetic Ferret in chat. That's a new version of please look forward to it. Please get used to it.
Oh my goodness.
Please get used to it. Hi. Please get used to it. Yeah, I mean you don't often hear that, Flynn, and I don't know. Will it work out? Will it work out? And you know, most people will go, you know what, for the first half hour I still didn't like it, but then yeah, he's kind of right. It makes it. They said when we tried to scale it back, things just got lost. And you can't have that in the style of combat that they're going for. You need the feedback, and it needs to be front and center, and you need to be able to see it.
Yeah, because so many games have weird UI elements, but you play it long enough, they just bleed into the background. It's like we're trying to watch foreign films for the first time, and it got subtitles, and it's like staring at subtitles, not the film.
Right.
Then an hour in, you're watching the film, and the subtitles are just bleeding into your brain.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I don't think I mind about this one. I too much. I do feel like there is a danger here in the next one, though. And we've talked about this often. And the stream will reconnect in a second. That's fine. Yoshi P and team talked to Game Informer. And when they talked to Game Informer, one of the multiple articles that because of course they diced it up into a million different articles. One of them was about combat, something we have spoken of quite a bit on the show here. One of the interviews was about combat. And they said, hey, the team loves turn-based combat. And years ago when we were talking about starting the development of Final Fantasy XVI, what do we want to do? Hey, we love combat. We love turn-based combat. But Yoshi P had this to say. Probably the biggest challenge had to do with designing the battle system and going into full real-time action. We've mentioned in the past that with Final Fantasy XVI, we wanted to bring a new generation of gamers to the Final Fantasy series, and one of our main focuses during early development was how to do this. Instead of going back to turn-based, we said, okay, this is a chance for us to challenge ourselves and to try to do something that the series has never done before, and we really want to try to do, and that's moving into a full action-based system. There was always the option. To maybe try a hybrid type of system where we have action and turn-based elements. But again, rather than trying that and having something that's not complete and not satisfying, we decided to fully focus on just bringing the action, Tark. Just bringing the action.
Again, we've talked about this, like the malign of our pride and joy of turn-based and Final Fantasy and our nostalgia of the games of yore and our youth. I'm going to trust Yoshi P. I know that we got a nice hybrid with Remake, and we're going to have that with Rebirth, I believe. I miss having my Final Fantasies be turn-based. I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy this game. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing game of the year contender. But I want some turn-based goodness, and I want a franchise I can depend on to deliver that goodness. Maybe that's no longer Final Fantasy. Maybe that's where I hope we get like 15 versions of Octopath Traveler. But yeah, a little sad about it.
I'm gonna give you a little list, Flynn, and you tell me what you think of this, okay? Because the rationale here that we've heard from the team, and in this most recent interview, that they said, hey, combat was the toughest thing to really nail down which way we were going to go. We're fans of both. But the whole argument has always been younger gamers are playing action titles. I'm going to read you 8 games, and I want you to tell me, Flynn, what they have in common. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. FIFA 22. FIFA 21, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Elden Ring, Cyberpunk 2077, and Animal Crossing New Horizons. Could you even guess what those all have in common?
They're not Final Fantasy.
They are the top 8 selling games since 2020. Those are the top. I think we could maybe put Elden Ring and Assassin's Creed Valhalla in that kind of action vein, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of fit. Elden Ring, kind of a different beast. It's not really something you think of like action combat. You think of that, you know, as a Souls-like, a little totally different genre, but it's an action-based combat system. Those are the top 8 selling games since 2020. Since 2020. They are video games. Yes, they are. Good way to go, chat. They are video games.
Video games, yes.
Now, I don't have the breakdown by age group, and younger people are notoriously not spending money because they don't make money. Right?
Stealing parents' credit cards.
You know, my 13-year-old was not really buying a lot of video games. So I would assume the argument here is, A, we want those younger people that their parents are going to buy them things to get into the habit of buying Final Fantasies, and then those 18 to 25-year-olds that do have money. But you know the condition of the world right now, right? Like, it's not exactly great. So I'd be really interested to see their internal metrics that say this is what younger audiences are clamoring for and buying and why they don't play Final Fantasy. I don't know. I don't know if this pays off to the extent that it's gonna make millions. You know, it's gonna be a game of the year contender unless there's something wildly wrong with it we just don't see right now.
Well, they have some weird metrics that or just is this gut feeling that Yoshi P has and the team has? I don't know.
Yeah, like it almost feels like that, right? Like a gut feeling. Yeah.
Like if I was 16. I know I sort of had this chat before. This game, the way it's presented, the way it looks visually, this is our young selves playing Final Fantasy for the first time. This is our imagination on crack. You know, having these big epic moments that are 2 seconds of pixels when we were kids, but we could imagine giant E3, giant Bahamut, all these crazy things. And I think in a way this could just be like a love letter approach for us to feel like we are fully immersed in our childhood with a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's not going to, do well, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. But as I've said on this show before, when I want to play Devil May Cry, I go play Devil May Cry. I've never sat and played a Final Fantasy game and thought, oh man, it'd be great if this was action combat instead. Like that is never even remotely crossed my mind, Tark.
I have thought the opposite.
Really? You've played like Final Fantasy insert number here and been like, oh, you know what? If this wasn't turn-based and I could just like whip a sword around and stuff. No, like obviously 8-year-old you 8-year-old you probably did that. Yeah, but I'm talking realistically. Go ahead.
No, I'm talking about Deirdre Cerberus. Playing that going, I bloody wish this was turn-based.
That's funny.
Like you said, it's the reverse.
Although there's going to be a ton of endgame stuff here, Tark.
Oh god, I'm so looking forward to it. I love the end game of 7 remake, the whole new game plus, and it not just being bigger stats, but different mechanics, and different ways of having to go about it. Not to mention the whole you can't use items thing. So I am absolutely looking forward. If they do anything to that same level with 16 that they did with 7 remake, I think people are going to be in store for a big treat.
Yeah, I mean, we got the arcade mode. We talked about that before, where you can like run through stages and try to get the best score, right, and compare it to a leaderboard. New Game Plus opens up 2 additional versions, and both are more difficult than the story and action versions. You're going to have the Final Fantasy mode. Final Fantasy mode of New Game Plus. That increases the game's difficulty, changes monster placement, remixes with enemies that might appear in combat. And then you have Final Fantasy mode New Game Plus playthrough. I'm sorry, we already did that one. Ultimaniac mode, which is just fucking nuts. There's about 3 different modes that are just like, okay, hey, you went through it and you got the story. Cool. Now can you beat the be-all end-alls, like challenges that aren't really meant to be beaten? Like for they've even labeled them like for the hardcore.
Yeah.
I just please don't put an Ultimania, completion as a plat trophy requirement. Just please don't.
Well, and then you have the Chronolith trials and the final Chronolith trial. Those are like multiple waves of monsters with bosses. Like there are a ton of modes. Go ahead, Flynn. Sorry.
I think with the trophies, just because it's a offhanded comment to the Game Informer was that, yeah, stage replay's a thing. I think they're going to leave the crazy chase the leaderboard mode to the Devil May Cry nuts who will spend the next 400 hours just in these modes to win the trials.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, if you're going to do if you're going to steal from action games of the past like Devil May Cry, and I guess you didn't steal from it because you just, you stole the combat designer. You just stole the designer themselves, and you're like, here, do this.
Palace Final Fantasy style. Get to it.
Yeah, you almost have to build on that replayability stuff too, right? Like, if that's the way you're going to go, then you got to give it all of the stuff that fans of that genre are going to be looking for. You're counting on Final Fantasy fans giving this a shot and being okay with it, and maybe 17 and 18 do the same thing because of that, and your installed fan base comes with you. That's not the point of why you did this, though. You got us for at least 1 or 2 titles, probably. You feel safe there. But you want to pull the Devil May Cry audience, the quote-unquote younger crowd that they keep saying, and you better put that stuff in there too, because that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for an RPG with action combat. Cool, give me a Final Fantasy that's Devil May Cry with all those modes and arcade, and you got to bring it all. And it looks like they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, the game's coming to PC, by the way.
Yeah.
It's
just let them
6
finish
months a year.
The initial release.
It'll be a wonderful.
It's going to
port.
be
You can
longer
trust
than
Square.
that. Yeah, I think it's
You
going to
can
be
trust
longer
Square.
than that, because Yoshi P said in an interview with ASCII that they're not even going into production on a PC port until the PS5 version launches. But it is at least nice now that he finally acknowledges out loud it's coming to PC. Because remember when he was like, I don't know why people think it's coming to PC and why people think it's coming 6 months from now. Because your trailer said so
Yeah, it was a little asterisk point.
on 2 different trailers.
Yeah. Freaking jerk.
Make sure you're watching, if you want more info, the IGN First series of stuff. Obviously, this month is Final Fantasy XVI, and a lot of that stuff's probably sponsored and whatever. Trust it if you want to. I grain of salt it myself. But as far as videos, I like watching some of their first reveal videos, and today they revealed a Final Fantasy Final Fantasy XVI first mid-game boss battle against Liquid Flame.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
That fight
looks-
was so good.
It looks
It's
cool.
really good.
It looks cool.
I
Hey,
was
Flynn!
like, oh, you missed a dodge, though.
Flynn,
Yeah.
Critiquing it.
Is this?
you beat a game this week.
I did.
What game did you beat this week?
Forspoken of all things.
Forspoken. Hey, Tark, did you beat Forspoken, or have you not?
Have I installed
played
it? You mean?
Yeah,
No.
I couldn't remember if you'd started it or not yet. Okay,
No.
so Flynn, this is all on you, buddy. You know, it came out, middling reviews, kind of a run-of-the-mill. Takao famously said it was the tuna sandwich of RPGs.
I
It was
love
good
that.
while you ate it, but you probably wouldn't remember you had it a week or 2 later. You've played through it. What's your final thought?
The final thought is I want more.
Wow.
Which is something I did not expect to see at the end. God, it's a beautiful game. The music is phenomenal. The story isn't as crazy as it could be, in a way. It feels like you take the latter half of 15 with the Star Scourge going crazy. Then you elaborate on that as a story point, and that's basically where you go with Forspoken. But yeah, I think it's because being Welsh and I'm sarcastic, I swear like a trooper. I just really connected with Faye as a character.
Nice.
But yeah, her interactions with Kath, just the offhanded back and forth, the decisions that she goes through got really believable in her approach. Her very, well, you obviously just don't care about people. It's like, you just throw me into this mess. I'm no hero. I just want to go home.
Did
won't let
you
me.
play the DLC yet, or is this just
Not
base
yet.
game? Okay.
This is just base game. But I will be picking up the DLC when I've got some spare pennies.
So have they sold you on a new IP?
Yeah.
Like if this, would you follow this if there was
yeah.
a Forspoken
Honestly,
2?
yeah.
Wow.
This premise, and it's such a fun world to just play around in. The parkour system, when you've got all the abilities, is hilarious. It got to the point that I was trying to get into so many nooks and crannies, I had a single frame rate drop across the entire 60 hours I've put in so far. And that's only
so
because I went up
you've-
a mountain I couldn't get into.
So you've like gone full bore into all the side stuff too, then, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
so
my money's worth.
it's still mixed on Steam review wise, but the most recent reviews have been coming in at mostly positive, probably because they took a month to fix the PC port. It's still not on sale on Steam though. Still 70 bones. I can't do that. No,
Yeah.
I just can't do it. $70, man.
I feel like I've definitely had my
Should have
money's
done that
worth.
buy one, get one with GameStop, man.
I
Get it
should
for
have.
free.
I should have. I should have. Well, you'll have to let me know, Tark, when you start playing it. God damn it, Flynn!
I
thought
might
you were gonna.
play
I thought
that.
you were gonna be like, it's mediocre.
It's not the best thing on the planet. It's a solid 7 out of 10. But it did leave me wanting more at the end.
It might be a game I play after I'm done with 15. We'll see.
Yeah, you're getting there. You're pretty close.
So much side stuff in 15 though. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it depends on how much. I always liked in 15 that it was like, these are the royal family's relic items, of which you actually need like 3. Don't worry about the rest if you don't really want to do them.
Yeah, it's definitely something I could say, but it would sort of
Yeah.
spoiled.
And if these are the
experience for them.
weapons that the royal family needed and passed down through, why did we bury them at 14 different tombs throughout the entire world? Why aren't these in the archives in the basement of the castle? Why the hell are these things all over the place?
Why isn't there a royal tomb graveyard area, you know?
Can we please start burying our dead right here in
Where's the royal
Insomnia?
tomb?
Keep the weapons in a museum? I don't know.
Right.
We could put the statues all around the city, but we can't bury them here.
The
statue's like 4 times the size of each of the individual tombs.
This one's in a broken down tomb that we can't remember where the opening is anymore. So you're gonna have to look for it. A Persona 3. What did you put in my show notes here? Persona 3 portable melody clock on the Square Enix official goods store.
Yeah, it's like, why is there a Persona in my Square Enix store?
Yeah, that is
a
little
good
weird.
question. Maybe Sega wanted to. Maybe Sega and them have a deal. I don't know. That's kind of interesting.
But it just opened my brain up to crossovers time.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, there
That
is
was a lot of fun. Tanner Olas's powers.
Yeah, that is one of those titles though that was on the Nvidia thing, right? The Persona 3 remake, along with like the Final Fantasy IX remake and all that stuff. Not sure why it would be on the Square Enix store though.
Yeah,
that's the curious thing. I saw it. It's like, right, this is definitely intriguing. Well, I do like the top tweet under it is Persona 3 remake featuring Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
I think Gilgamesh would really fit into Persona.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, happy anniversary to DQ Monsters. Eddie, you guys ever play that series?
No.
Nope. Like I vaguely knew it existed, but like it was always like on the handhelds, and if I recall correctly, I didn't really read the article you linked, but didn't like some of them come?
If I recall correctly, like, I didn't read the show notes you sent me for this thing. I just show up and wing it.
Well, because you throw shit at me like it was like, this isn't in the show notes, so just tell me what you think. I'm like, okay.
I like gut reactions sometimes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, but the game, like, not all the series comes to the US, right? Like, some of it
not all of
comes and not all of it does. And they're on handheld, so like it's kind of niche in that way too. So I don't know. Is this coming to consoles?
Switch. Nintendo Switch exclusive. Okay. Exclusive. So now Nintendo's gonna continue getting Square Enix exclusives. Sony obviously has a few of them. There's actually a rumor about a big announcement for another Square Enix Sony partnership thing too. So and remember they said they were gonna have a big Final Fantasy announcement for 2023, right? We still haven't heard that yet. Like
9 remake.
We all kind of think it's the 9 remake, but we'll see. But yeah, Dragon Quest Monsters getting a new entry. We don't have date or anything like that. Not even a release window. This was during like the 25th anniversary stream thing. But yeah, new Dragon Quest Monsters coming for Nintendo Switch and confirmed for North America, which is the important part because some of them don't make it here. To your point, Tark. You never play Flynn. You ever play them?
No, it's not. Outside of the main Dragon Quest titles, I'm not really aware of the side games too much.
Yeah, it's hard to, I get the main titles because they're the numbered entries, but then there's so many side things. It's like I can only do that with one franchise, and that's Final Fantasy. There's so much side stuff with Final Fantasy, so to do that for 2 franchises is just a little much. So it's a Pokemon type game, right?
Yeah.
It's like a Monster Hunter-esque game.
The question is
Dragon Quest.
Yeah, the question is it's going to perform better than the new Pokemon games on the Switch?
We'll see.
We'll see.
It'll fail to meet expectations. That much is to be sure.
But will they sell the company?
Will they sell the company? Hey, remember we talked a couple of weeks ago about the creator of Live Alive wanting to make a sequel in his yes/no video where that was all he was able to say.
I cheated with them, maybe.
Yeah. So apparently, in a Q&A, producer Takahashi Takeda was asked what it might take for him to actually propose to Square, hey, let's do a sequel. And he said, if the Steam and PlayStation versions of the game can sell 1 million copies, then I'd be very confident in proposing a Live Alive 2 to the company. That's what he said. 1 million copies. And we don't have, like, the most recent of sales data. The Switch version came out last year in July, and that sold about 500,000 copies in just over a month at that time. And there's been no update on sales performance since then. And it's also released on PlayStation and Steam since then. So I gotta, there's no way it didn't make 1 million copies at this point, right?
Total?
It did 500,000 on Switch in a month.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, your release month is huge, and then it wildly tapers off. But then you had the PlayStation release, then you had the Steam release, right?
Yeah.
Like, it had to have done 1 million copies by now.
I hope so, yeah.
They might even get another one out of me. I'm still debating whether to buy it to get those trophies. God, I love that game. That game was so good. But I don't know if I can drop more money on it.
Yeah, you still got to pay the second mortgage to get that collector's 16 set, huh?
Yeah.
You had to remortgage the joint.
Only $6,100 for that collector's edition.
Only $6,100. Let's go over to Love It or Leave It. Love it or leave it is the way we end every episode of the Relic Grind here. It's where I give you something Square Enix related. Could be a game, a feature in a game, a press release, something they did, something they said, and you tell me whether you love it, want more of it, or leave it, never see it again. No fence sitting here. Now, I did originally have DQ Monsters as a series in here, but since my co-hosts have never partaken, I would be the only one that would actually have a worthwhile damn opinion. So I'm going to give you a line change on news that just broke today. Okay?
All right.
The prosecutor in the Yuji Naka case, okay, the insider trading, all that stuff, remember? Creator of Balan's Wonderworld. He is facing 2.5 years in prison, in addition to a $1.2 million USD, $1.2 million USD fine for his role in that whole insider trading scheme. That punishment is being requested by the prosecutor's office at the Tokyo District Court, who are arguing that Naka had violated Japan's Federal Instruments and Exchange Act, and they had shown no signs of remorse for the offense. And they want a $1.2 million fine, USD fine, and 2.5 years in prison. Obviously, what he did was wrong. He admitted what he did was wrong. Whether or not he showed remorse, we wouldn't be able to validate to any great extent.
I don't know how it works in Japan.
Yeah.
How that works.
Didn't he? I don't think he took it to trial. I think we talked about it on the show.
We got a final ruling on July 7th.
He was arrested.
Been
arrested twice so far.
Yeah. But when we talked about that, but like he I can't remember. Yeah, he pled guilty. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we did talk. I couldn't remember if it was an entered plea or a judgment. It was an entered plea. Love the sentence or leave the sentence? And the prosecutor seeking this type of stiff penalty. Obviously, what he did was wrong. No doubt. Violation of the law. No doubt. But we've shared the dollar amounts that were at stake here.
And they were not.
One was, you were like, why'd you even do it? And then the other one, you were like, okay, you did make a little bit of bank there. But a $1.2 million fine and up to 2.5 years in prison. Love the sentence or leave it? Tark.
I guess I will go leave it. Like, my initial thoughts, knowing the money that he, quote unquote, made, stole, however you want to put it, I was thinking like 6 months. The fine, okay. The fine should be the fine.
The fine is relatively equal with what he got, right? Because the one ended up being like $300,000, and then the other one was, the bigger one was like $800,000. So the fine is pretty close to what he, quote unquote, purchased or made.
Yeah. And in my head, like, considering he pleaded guilty, he's not fighting it. So there's no drawn out court case or big burden on their government or court system to try to prove him guilty. I was thinking like 6 months, but like if their prosecutors are wanting to throw the hammer at him to like prove a point that you don't do this crap in Japan, I feel like it's a leave it. I think it's a little harsh.
Flynn?
I'll go on the other side of this, especially off the back of playing the Judgment games and knowing Japan has a over 90% conviction rate when it comes to criminal charges now.
Wow.
Yeah, they've definitely done this to prove a precedent. And like, you can try to screw a company, you're getting screwed. Just look at Nintendo with Bowser, you know. But yeah, love it for the sake of don't screw gamers out of games.
I love it. You know, obviously I don't want anybody going to jail, but I also don't want anybody doing shit like this to have to go to jail. It's weird, like, being like, wow, this guy who created Sonic is going to jail. Like, you made Sonic, and we won't even hold Balan Wonderworld against you. Like, you made Sonic, and now you're going to jail.
But you do every time you bring him up, because the first thing you say is the guy that made Balan Wonderworld.
I do. That was the worst $7 I ever spent.
The worst.
I didn't buy it. I do love it though. I kind of agree with Takal in chat too that it's like this is the creator of Sonic, and he got what would arguably be the same penalty I would get if I was an unknown and had the ability to engage in this. So, although I don't want to see him go to jail, unfortunately, I got to agree with the sentiment.
This should be blind. Yeah.
Justice should be blind. That's going to do it for the show here, but don't go anywhere, chat. Yes, she's back. MomoCon is over. The prep for MomoCon is over. Faye Death is back. Make sure you speak up because your mic is always quiet on the show for some reason. How are you?
Oh, how about y'all? We survived it. It was a good time, and we're back. And I'm excited, and we have a cult to deal with this evening. So,
well, I mean, that's a really weird thing to say. I think we need some context.
A little bit.
Are you joining it?
What is it? Creed Bratton in the office. What do you say? He was like, I've been a member of many cults, sometimes as a member, sometimes as a leader. You have more fun as a member, but you make more money as a leader.
Exactly. So come join the Cult of Fae.
Oh my God.
It's a bunch of snake-like folks terrorizing our villagers in Icewind Dale. We must
back in Icewind Dale. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, chat, don't go anywhere. Give us a few minutes to relabel things. We'll have Faye up and running, and you can hang out with Faye. Also, in about half an hour, I'll be headed over to YouTube channel for Dylan Camacho, talking about some Final Fantasy trading card meta stuff in the competitive season right now, so if you want to come hang out there. We'll be back, of course, next Thursday. Until then, Flynn, where can everybody find you?
You can find me every Thursday. You can find me over on Twitch at Within Crisis, and you can check out previous podcast episodes over on Within Crisis Podcast on the YouTubes.
Tark.
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkoth Gaming. Tonight be doing some raiding in the Savage as we hopefully get our first fight down, and then follow me here on Ready Check Radio Saturday nights. Currently playing Final Fantasy XV.
Is there somebody standing off to your right? Like every time I cut away from your camera, are you watching TV? Like every time I cut away from your camera, you're staring off to your right at something off camera. Like
Yeah,
what is over there?
I got my monitors over here.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm like, is he watching like football or something? What's he doing? I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there at Magic Man 1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO, so that you'll know every time we go live with a podcast, stream, trading card games, or we're just hanging out, and you can come along. Until next week, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers. Later.